video tutorial, we're going to take you through the process of setting up your shipping in InkSoft. Now, this is a requirement in order to get your shopping cart to become active or to turn on your shopping cart. Additionally, to make the shopping cart active, you have to have at least one payment method. So to begin, I'm first going to show you what the net result will be once you set up your shipping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a pre-decorated static product into the shopping cart. So I'm just going to add 2 large rhinestone t-shirts. So I'm going to say add to cart. And once I do that, and we graduate to the shopping cart, you'll notice here shipping method. So your client has to enter in a zip code. So in this case, I'm going to enter in 85268, which is Fountain Hills, Arizona. I'm going to click update, and the shopping cart's going to automatically apply shipping based on the sort order. So whatever you display number 1, so meaning if you have UPS ground or FedEx ground or USPS, 7-day, that's what's going to display and give pricing first. So you probably want to consider using the cheapest shipping method because that's what's going to display by default. We'll talk more about sort order as we get into the back end. So you can see now, here's the city and state, Fountain Hills, Arizona. Now somebody can change the shipping method. If they don't want ground, maybe they want this to be delivered overnight, they have the opportunity to click change, where they can select different shipping methods based on your sort orders and based on the vendors that you've activated. So you can see here I currently have ground, 3-day, 2-day, and overnight. I also have free pickup and local delivery. So the client can effectively choose what method they want in this process. So I can go ahead and return. Now in the event that a client doesn't enter in their zip code on the left-hand side as you've seen, what they can do is if they click checkout, InkSoft is basically going to ask them for their shipping information to then populate the shipping pricing. So they're not required to enter in a zip code first. If they go on to complete their purchase and they enter in their shipping information, that of course is going to populate in the shopping cart. So in order to create and enable the shipping methods and shipping vendors and the pricing, you're going to sign in as an admin. And once we sign in, you want to navigate to the global settings tab. So we'll click on config, and then we're going to go to the global settings tab, and we'll navigate down to shipping. And that's of course where we're going to set up all of our shipping vendors and methods. So global settings, shipping, and I'm going to click on vendors. And here you'll see the vendors that I have active displayed. Remember, we had UPS as options, and we also had pickup for local orders and transactions. Additionally, if I click on shipping methods, you'll see those methods that I set up: ground, 2-day, 3-day, and overnight. Those are methods that display in the cart. Let me go click on the right tab here, and you'll see those populate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete overnight. I'm going to show you the process of actually creating this, and we'll do it from scratch. So I just deleted overnight. I'm also going to delete this pickup method as a shipping vendor. So in order to go through this process here, let me first delete pickup as a method, and I'm going to take you through this from start to finish. So you're going to have 4 main tabs here at the very top. You're going to have shipping vendors, shipping methods, price schedules, states, and countries. Now below that, you're going to have the option to add a new shipping vendor. So you're going to work from left to right using those main tabs at the very top. The first thing that we have to do is we have to say what shipping vendors we want to use. So InkSoft is fully integrated with UPS, FedEx, USPS, and pickup. And pickup is, of course, a shipping method that you should activate in case somebody's purchasing in your city or state and they want to come pick it up. So with that said, there's going to be 4 options here. I already have UPS active, and I'll leave that active because I don't remember all of my login vitals here. So you can see that you can go ahead and select the methods that you want. So I want FedEx, USPS, and I should mention that USPS is made active and integrated through Stamps.com, which is a third-party company. So Stamps.com, very, very popular. In fact, they're running national commercials now, so a lot of small businesses use them to populate shipping labels and pay for shipping through USPS, and also to get real-time rates. Now what we'll do with these shipping vendors is we're going to enter in all of these fields that are required. Now starting at the top, automated integration. Yes, we want to have integration between InkSoft Shopping Cart and the FedEx API, meaning it's going to go to FedEx to get pricing and return that right back to your cart, but it's also going to automate the process of postage and shipping labels and tracking in the system. Now you can see here the next method is process mode. Do we want to make this live, or do we want to leave this in test mode? Test mode is going to allow you to do some fake checkouts, generate those shipping labels, just as a way to evaluate that process. So what we'd recommend is Leave this set to test mode to begin, and when you're ready to go public and live after you're done evaluating, you can toggle this to live. Now, there's two pricing options. You can do full pricing control, and I'm going to share more about that in a moment's time, or you could enable real-time rates, which means InkSoft is going to communicate with FedEx, UPS, USPS, and it's going to return actual rates based on the zip code, the weight, and the shipping method that was selected. So if it was 5 pounds going ground to Pensacola, Florida, again, the right rates are going to return right into the shopping cart. Now, I'm going to also show you how you can do a % or a dollar markup or surcharge for these different methods. So if you want to say, I want to charge 15% above the cost of shipping to make a little bit of profit on shipping, you have the ability to do that. I'm going to share more about that in a moment's time. So again, you're going to enter in all your information in these fields here. You want to make sure that your method or your vendor is set to active, meaning it's going to display to your shoppers. You could always toggle it to know if you temporarily want to remove FedEx as an option, and you can control the sort order. What order are you going to display these shipping options and methods unto your shoppers? Do you want USPS to display first and then FedEx secondly for overnight options? Again, you can control the sort order. So we're going to go ahead and fill out these required fields here. I'm not going to do this, but I will activate pickup. Now, the other thing I want to point out is you can create a custom shipping vendor. So maybe I want to set up something for local delivery, homeroom delivery, whatever it may be. I can create a custom shipping method, and I can assign that to an exacting store. So if I set up a high school store or a school store or a company store, it's probably going to be inappropriate to have shipping options because it's a local organization and they're always going to pick up, or there's going to be local delivery. So again, you can create custom shipping method, and you can activate that and of course choose the sort order. So I'll go ahead and now activate pickup and a custom shipping method. So I'll go ahead and select save new vendor, and you can see now under the active shipping vendors we have 3 options: pickup, UPS, and I have local delivery. At any time I can choose to remove one of these methods, so I can entirely delete a shipping vendor, in which case now I'm going to have pickup and UPS. So the next step in this process is we need to select shipping methods. What methods are we going to make available for UPS? So I can go ahead and click on shipping methods, and this is going to give me the tools to actually create those methods. So I already have active a ground shipping method, a 3-day saver, and a 2-day saver, but maybe I want to give the option for overnight. So what I'm going to do now, and what you'll do because this will be blank for your first time setting this up, is you're going to click on add new shipping method. So you can see the first step, add new shipping vendor. Next step, add shipping methods. What options are clients going to have when they're checking out? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go down the very bottom, and I'm going to create a custom shipping method from scratch. So you can choose your vendor. In this case, this is going to be UPS. I'm going to name this. This is going to be overnight. And I have the ability to even assign this to a store. So again, you can create custom methods on a store-by-store basis. And in this case, I'm going to create this and make this available for all of the stores. What I'm going to do next is give this a description. So we're going to put in overnight. What I can do now, I'm just going to leave calculation methods set to pounds because UPS, FedEx, USPS, they just want to see the weight. That's all they're concerned with. They're not concerned with the item count or the dollar amount. But I'm going to show you why that's important in just a moment. And that's going to give you the opportunity to create custom shipping rules. And I'll show you that workflow in here in just a moment's time. That's more of an advanced control. So you probably want to use the live integration because it's easy. Now, processing days, overnight. I'm going to give 2 days to process an overnight order. So if I order something from Amazon overnight, doesn't mean that they're going to ship it same day. It means it's going to take a day or two to process the order, then it ships overnight. So I can make that decision here. I can do a rush markup. So there's 2 types of markups, a rush markup, and there's also a shipping surcharge. You can do it by % or dollar amount. So rush markup is basically going to mark up the the order by a %. So if somebody's going to choose overnight, you might want to have a fee that you're going to charge, a % of the subtotal that you're going to charge because you have to stop production, attend to their order. It's going to mess up your workflow. So you're going to penalize them a little bit for it. So of course I could enter in, I'm going to do a 20% markup if they want it overnight. Transit time. Well, this could be anywhere from a day, but if they ordered on a Thursday, we have 2 days to process. It might take 2 or 3 days to get there. So you want to put your minimum and maximum transit time. You also can specify whether a shipping method could apply a discount. So oftentimes people don't discount shipping. They just discount the subtotal. So maybe I do a future promotion, 10% off, but I do not want that to apply to the shipping because I have fixed costs and I want to manage that very closely. So I'm not going to let discount codes apply to this. Now here, no shipping address. Sometimes if you're creating like a pickup method, you don't want to require a shipping address if they're going to pick it up locally. That wouldn't make any sense. But in this case, of course, we're going to require a shipping method. And then you also have the ability to basically put in restrictions. Maybe UPS or FedEx won't deliver to a PO box, so I want to deselect allow shipping to a PO box. And then I can control the sort order. Where do I want this to display? I want this to be the fourth option that people see. I want ground to be number one. I want 3-day to be second, 2-day to be third, and then I want overnight to be the fourth option that displays. So I'm going to go ahead and save new shipping method, and that's now going to refresh the page, and you're going to see that method active in our other methods here. So again, we have ground, 3-day, 2-day, and then overnight. Now, I have some other options here. Under the method, you have to tell InkSoft what method this applies to. So overnight matches overnight, next day air. Or I could choose next day air saver. So I have the ability to create or name my own shipping method, but then I can associate that with an actual UPS method. So it's very important that you do that. Now again, here's the processing time, 2 days. Dollar surcharge or percent surcharge. Okay, if somebody orders overnight, I am going to mark up the overnight rate by 10%. So I'm going to make a 10% profit on the actual shipping costs. But I'm also going to do a rush markup. And again, you can see that there's two abilities to do markups, by a dollar amount or a percent, and that's going to do a percent or a dollar amount addition to the actual shipping costs. So if FedEx says it's $10 to ship ground, this product, maybe I want to add $2 or I want to add 15%. I can do that in these two columns, and then the rush markup is effectively going to take the subtotal and then do a markup. So if I say maybe we had a $100 subtotal and I want to do a 10% markup because it's being rushed, I'm going to add $10 extra profit onto that order. So again, you have two options there. As you can see, transit time minimum and maximum. No discounts should apply to this particular transaction. Make it active, and here's our sort order. So go ahead and save those changes, and that's now going to be reflected in the shopping cart. So that's pretty straightforward. That's the same workflow for FedEx, UPS, USPS. So make sure to fill out these accurately. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on the pickup method that we established earlier. And of course, I could give this a custom name. But notice this. When I click on pickup and I'm on shipping methods, I can choose the calculation method. And this is, again, creating a custom shipping rules. So you're controlling the shipping, not by UPS or FedEx's server, but maybe you want to do it based on rules that you've established. So you can do that based on weight. You can do it based on item subtotal or item count. So effectively what I can do is I can say item count. I can put in all my other details as you see here, save those changes. And then what we need to do is go to the price schedules. So the only time that you're going to use price schedules tab, the third tab from the left, is when you have a custom shipping method and you do not want to use the live real-time integration. So you can see here, I can go in and I have the ability to set up my shipping rules. So I can say, okay, for item count or for a shipping weight, I have the ability to dial in those details here. So it is the recommendation that you use the real-time integration with UPS and FedEx because it's very easy. But in some instances, it may be important to you to charge a fixed amount based on weight, item count, or subtotal, in which case you can use the pricing schedules in order to create that. The last tab lets you dial in what states and countries. Currently supporting the United States and of course Canada, so I can deselect Canada and we won't ship to Canada, so you can make that selection. Or in this case, maybe I don't want to ship to the Virgin Islands, so I can deselect Virgin Islands, save changes, and that's going to update in real time. So generally, you're not going to use the two secondary tabs. You're mainly going to set up a vendor and then dial in the shipping methods. So pretty straightforward and easy. Now, we do recommend that you test and evaluate this. So as you create these methods, you're going to want to log out, and then you're going to want to add a static product or add a product to the shopping cart. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the sort order for pickup, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this display fifth. So I always want I never want pickup to display first. You always want ground to display number one because that's going to be the least expensive shipping method to a client. So go ahead and save those changes. That's going to update. So as I showed you initially, we had 5 shipping options. We had ground, 2nd day, 3-day, overnight, and we had pickup. So now that that's done, I'm going to make sure UPS is set into test mode, and we're going to actually check out with a fake transaction here so you can see what that looks like. All right, good. We're in test mode now. We have real-time integration. So I'm going to go ahead and sign out. We're going to add a static product or just a product to the shopping cart. So we're going to do a fake transaction here. And you can see exactly the workflow that your shoppers would experience. So I'm going to add this to the cart, and you can see what that looks like now. Again, shipping method. I could enter in a zip code, or I'm just going to continue with the shopping purchase. I'm going to say, okay, I want these 2 garments. I'm going to click checkout now, and I have the ability to go through that checkout process by entering all this information here. So I'm going to enter in this information, and I'm going to come back and show you that complete checkout process. Great, we've entered in all our shipping information. Go ahead and save shipping address, and InkSoft will refresh that information. Now InkSoft does something called address book. So it's going to store the client's shipping information, so when they return, if they log into their account, all their shipping vitals will be there, which makes the checkout process much quicker and easier. So you can see as soon as I entered in my shipping information and we entered a zip code, InkSoft automatically went and retrieved from UPS's server the ground shipping amount based on the zip code that we had entered. So your shoppers have the ability to then change the shipping method by clicking change, and here they have the option to go and make a change. So remember, we made a 10% increase on overnight shipping, so you can see that that's a bit higher because we're actually making 10% profit on the shipping. So your clients can choose the shipping method. I want this 3-day, and you can see usually delivered within 7 business days. Remember, we put transit time plus processing time, so that displays inside of the shopping cart. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to click Save Shipping Information. We'll return right back to the shopping cart where your clients can now complete that transaction. So I'm going to go ahead and check out with a purchase order here just to make this quick. So I'll say Pay Now with Purchase Order. You can see 3-day savers updated, the subtotal, and the shipping has been updated, and it says thanks for shopping. And of course, the last component of shipping is actually integrating the shipping into the order. So once you approve the order and then you mark it through all of these buckets, approve order, order products, receive product, print product, in the last phase of this process is the ship order. So here's the order that we just placed. So I'll go ahead and make that selection, and we'll get a new pop-up window here. And as you may be aware of, FedEx, USPS rather, they have 2 types of weight. Effectively, they have weight, and then they have dimensional weight. So you're going to pay more, or you're going to pay effectively if you have a large package but it weighs a pound, you're going to pay as though it weighed 30 pounds based on dimensional weight. So rarely, if you're shipping t-shirts, is that ever going to become an issue? But nonetheless, when you're ready to ship your order at the very, very last stage in this order cycle, here you're going to have record new shipping. So the date that this is going to ship. So if it's going to ship on the 20th, the carrier, and by default it's going to be selected with whatever the client had ordered. Of course, this is going to go next day air, or maybe we're going to select next day saver. Packaging, you can go and dial in, however it's going to be packaged. Weight, if your packaging materials have added extra weight to it, you need to configure that. Dimensions, this is important for dimensional weight, so if it's really large, you can assess that. Status, so I can put shipped. So I'm going to mark this as shipped, and you can see items in package that defaults because there was 2 products in this order, so automatically it says 2 items in the package. I'm going to go ahead and record that particular shipment, and you can see now the site will populate. Please enter the shipping dimensions, so I have to go do that, I'm sorry. So I enter the shipping dimensions, we'll say 1 inch, or we'll say it's whatever standard package may be, 1 inch. We'll go and enter in all these details here. I'll go ahead and now save those changes, and we'll let the InkSoft populate, and then we can get access to the shipping label. Now the tracking is automatically going to be populated. So here's your tracking number, as you can see. It's automatically generated. Print shipping label. So here I can go ahead and access that shipping label, and there is your shipping label. And you can see the to address, all the contact information is here right inside of this label, so I could send this right to the printer, and we are ready to go. So that's the complete process of creating custom shipping methods, and you can see how that relates to the order. So from start to finish, the last stage is you'll dial in the rest of the details to ship the order, and then it generates the shipping label. As you can see on screen, marks it as shipped, and of course the client, if they log in and they log into their account, they can see the status because you've updated it as shipped. So that's the complete process from start to finish. Make sure to look at the help desk, and you can keyword search FedEx, UPS. If you need to find your access key or some of the other information that relates to your UPS account, we've documented some of that info in the help desk and the support forum.